Greetings and welcome to the Goddess Breath on YouTube. I'm Dr. Mari. Thank you for joining. If you have been following this series, we are in the middle of the Embodying Consciousness series, and I am excited to jump right in with this episode to talk about what I consider the sacred union. It's the integration of the masculine and feminine energies within. Not talking about gender, we're talking about energy. I'll get into all of that. And I like that this also coincides with Pride Month. So I just want to mention, as we celebrate Pride Month, I think it's a beautiful opportunity to reflect here on what Dr. Carl Jung understood many years ago, that every human being carries both the masculine and feminine qualities, talking about characteristic qualities within. Goes beyond Carl Jung. It goes back to ancient times and the aspects of the Sumerian culture with the idea of androgyny, Androgyny. They even had the parade of the participants in the parade wearing half clothes that represented their masculinity and half clothes representing their femininity. Very interesting. I won't go too much into that, but I wanted to share that because it applies to what we're talking about. Regardless, though, of our gender or our sexual orientation and how we identify with all of that, the journey towards wholeness invites us to become more fully ourselves. That's the main key, that it's about coming to wholeness and, in essence, coming home to yourself. So in many ways, I do believe that the LGBTQ plus community often is engaging this journey consciously. It's something that I think differs from heterosexual, that members of the LGBTQ plus community have already gone within and considered all of what we're going to talk about and have had to ask the difficult questions about identity, about authenticity, about courage and belonging. And these are profound questions that relate to individuation, Carl Jung's individuation, but individuation in general. We are getting there. We're getting there more and more each episode, talking about individuation. And it's not really a place to arrive, but I will share more in the next episode, specifically once we cover this and the aspects of the masculine and feminine characteristics, qualities within. So because of that, there's so much all of us can learn from this journey toward living authentically that we can learn from the LGBTQ plus community as a reflection and recognize that through them. So I think it's really wonderful, really interesting, and what a wonderful time. I love Pride Month. It's always full of rainbows and joy, celebratory. It's so fun. But years ago, this is a personal aspect, while studying the Jungian psychology and the myth of Ainana, I began noticing something fascinating within my own process, that every relationship that I was looking at in Ainana's myth seemed to mirror something happening within my life. My psyche picked up on it. And suddenly, I wasn't simply talking about archetypes, gods and goddesses, or kings and queens, or the different people that were interrelated, the holy servant, the trickster, that sort of thing. I was meeting aspects of myself that were playing these roles that I didn't even realize. And beyond that, beyond the archetypes, really starting to hone in, do some polishing, so to speak. I like to call it polishing, so that we can see more clearly ourselves. And the ideal is that we return to wholeness. So, but that insight eventually became the foundation for my book, which is the Sacred Union, Connecting the Masculine and Feminine Within. And Carl Jung believed that each of us carry these inner masculine and feminine qualities, like I already just said, and he called these the anima and the animus. But while he described these qualities as seeming to relate to specific gender, that really is about recognizing that these inner energies transcend simple gender categories. That's really what we're saying here. They belong to every human being. Today we might use broader language. We might simply say that within each of us lives qualities traditionally associated with both the feminine and the masculine. Energetically. Feminine is more receiving, listening, creativity, intuition, compassion. Masculine's more action, direction, structure, purpose, protection, presence even. But neither is superior. Neither is complete in and of itself alone. They are complete, integrated together. Wholeness emerges through relationship. And that can be our inner relationship. Long before modern psychology, yogic traditions described two energetic currents flowing within us. So this also is energetic. They're called the Ida and the Pingala. And these are, we could say, lines, ropes, not ropes, that doesn't sound right, but energetic forces that create, it's like the serpent. That's what the Kundalini means. And that's where I'm going here. Kundalini is the serpent, and that we have that serpent coiled at the bottom of our pelvic area, the perineus, and that when it's activated, the Kundalini then, once it's striked, it goes, separates from masculine and feminine, goes around the chakras in like a spiral kind of formation, and then lands here at the brow and sits on both sides, Ida and Pingala, left and right, masculine, feminine, whatever you want to consider it to be. They're opposite energies, but they unite in the brow, our third eye chakra. And the masculine, when these begin moving in harmony, so when they start to go together, they awaken a deeper current of consciousness. So I decided that it would be nice to do a little breath technique to sort of activate that and connect with those integration of opposites. And it's the alternate nostril breathing. And it's the Nadi Shodhana, if you're familiar. This is a yogic technique. Super simple. I've done it before if you've been following me along in my episodes. It's calming. And it's also, in this case, symbolic. But it can be stimulating for the third eye energy here and create more awareness. I was going to say focus, but I feel like it's more awareness is where I'm going and what I really want to express with doing this. So yeah, it's kind of like a ritual of inner union, if you can think of it like that. But it's super simple. And we always begin with the left nostril. This may be your reflection. I'm showing you my right, but then we end with the right nostril. I'll say it like this. So if you're mirroring me, okay, we begin. That's what I'll do. We begin with the left and we end with the left. Not sure what I just said, but we begin with the left and we end with the left. So the inhale, and then we end 4 series later with the exhale of the left. Okay? So it's super simple. You just need your finger to close the either nostril. If you've never done this before, just go gently. Take it easy. Just see, how it feels. It's okay. It's not doesn't have to be super impactful. It's more so symbolic for you in this case with doing breath work and integrating these concepts, and that you will probably feel some shift in your energy of your body. And so we begin. Okay, so just take an inhale, your double nostril, exhale. Again, inhale, exhale. Do that one more time. Inhale, exhale. And then we're going to close the right nostril and inhale through the left. Close the left, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, exhale through the left. That's one. We're going right to it again. Inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right. Inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left. 2. Inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right. Inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left. 3. Now we can do it kind of fancy. So close your right nostril here. Inhaling through the left. Bring it all the way up if you've been doing this a while or you just have the capacity. Bring it all the way down. Exhaling through the right, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. Inhale through the right. And exhaling through the left. All the way, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. That completes our cycle. And that's 4. So notice how you feel. Notice what comes up for you, if anything, or just feel a little shift. Your eyes feel a little more sparkly. But in any case, like I said, it can be kind of like a little bit of a ritual of uniting the opposites in this way with the breath. And I'm going to close here. This is a kind of short, quick episode, but what I want to finish with is Ainana and talking about her story, and that it's not in her story when she joins with another. It's just the sacred marriage union, the ritual part of her story that is about connecting the masculine and feminine energies, the heavens with the earth for prosperity and blessings of fertility of the land and the people of Sumer. So it's not about her finding the right partner and that being what is meaningful. It's about that she's uniting and coming into her own sovereignty, and that brings more wholeness. It happens within for all parties and for the people of the ritual and the celebration. And we can learn from this to honor our own strength without losing our tenderness. We can recognize our wisdom without losing our curiosity, our intelligence, but also recognizing there's more to learn. We can recognize our courage without losing our compassion. Keep our heart open always, right? Even at the front lines, we can keep our heart open. That's extraordinary. That's mindfulness. That's staying integrated. And that's when extraordinary things happen in a person's life. So we stop searching for someone to complete us and we begin discovering the wholeness that has always lived within us, always is always there. And then what's coming next after inner union is the transcendent function. This is Jung's transcendent function as part of the individuation process. This is not about theory, it's about experience. Because once the opposites begin talking, when they start talking to each other, something new emerges. And there's then this new thing, this shiny gold nugget, I call it. And that's where the transcendent function comes into play. So just a little quick, because you're probably wondering, what is the transcendent function? It's the psychological process that bridges the conscious and the unconscious mind. And by holding the tension between opposing forces, holding that tension between those opposite forces, like the paradoxical spectrum, or like reason and emotion, it generates symbolic solutions that allow the personality to shift to a new, higher level of development and wholeness. And I hope that that makes sense. It's understandable. I hope that's exciting for you to aspire to experience that. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen conceptually. It happens experientially. So we'll talk more about that as well in the next episode. Again, always thank you for joining. And I want to share with you that if you are interested in my books, this is The Sacred Union, Connecting the Masculine and Feminine Within for Personal Transformation. You can find it on thegoddessbreath.com under the tab books. If you're interested in the breathwork that I do, you can look under events, and I have different retreats, but also the one-day holotropic breathwork in St. Petersburg, Florida. In November, I'm going to be teaching a course, a 4-week online course called The Power of Myth and Archetype. So thank you so much. Blessings. Be well. Have a beautiful day.